The metallic walls of the starship Solstice hummed with a low vibration that seemed to pulse with the tension in the air. Elara, the ship's diplomat, paced the narrow corridor, her fingers brushing against the cool surface, feeling the tremors of the crew's unease. Around her, the flickering lights reflected the deepening shadows of worry that clung to the faces of those she passed. In this vessel where emotions powered life support, every ripple of anxiety threatened to drain the ship's energy reserves. A precarious balance that relied on her ability to negotiate peace. Their mission to mediate a truce between the warring factions of the Quell and the Zenth had already escalated into a standoff, and the clock was ticking. The crew's fear was palpable, threatening to siphon off the very emotions needed to keep life support online. Elara's mind raced as she recalled the stakes she had laid out before the factions. A failure to reach an agreement would not only doom the ship, but also seal the fates of thousands on both sides of the conflicts. With a deep breath, she stepped into the negotiation chamber, a stark room where the walls shimmered with holographic displays of the galaxy. The representatives from the Quell and Zenth were already present, their expressions a mix of defiance and desperation. Elara could feel their emotions swirling around her, the Quell's indignation sharp and bitter, while the Zenth's mistrust simmered beneath a facade of calm. She needed to harness these feelings, turn them into something productive. As she began to speak, outlining the potential benefits of peace, she sensed a shift in the room. The Quell leader's brow furrowed, their anger bubbling to the surface as they accused the Zenth of betrayal. In that moment, the air thickened with hostility, and Elara felt the ship's life support flicker, a warning signal echoing in her mind. She took a step back, her heart pounding, aware that if she didn't regain control, they would all be plunged into darkness. Elara recalled the old tactics of her mentor, using empathy as a shield. She turned her gaze to the Quell leader, allowing her voice to soften. "I understand your pain. You have every right to feel betrayed." The room stilled, the tension shifting. She saw the faintest crack in their armor, a flicker of vulnerability beneath the anger. But before she could build on it, the Zenth representative interjected, their voice laced with bitterness, reigniting the conflict. The life support flickered again, panic rising in Elara's chest. Each failed attempt to establish common ground was draining the ship. She needed to act decisively. "Let us not dwell on what has been lost but focus on what can be gained," she urged, her heart racing as she projected calmness. "Imagine a future where your children do not inherit this division." The words hung in the air, but the Zenth scoffed, their disbelief echoing like a death knell. Frustration surged through Elara as she struggled to maintain control. She was losing them. The chamber felt like a cage, and with each moment, the ship's systems dimmed further. She closed her eyes, taking a breath to center herself. Then, she recalled a story from her childhood, one of unity amidst strife, and began to weave it into her argument, each word laced with the hope she felt for both sides. As she spoke, the atmosphere shifted again. The Quell leader's expression softened, their brow unknitting as they listened. The Zenth representative shifted in their seat, uncertainty creeping in where anger had ruled. Elara continued, her voice steady, drawing upon shared experiences and the power of their common humanity. Slowly, she could feel the emotions in the room recalibrating, warmth beginning to seep through the icy barrier of distrust. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, a tentative agreement began to form, each side whispering their concerns and hopes into the air. Elara felt the life support systems stabilize, the flickering lights brightening as optimism took root. The tension transformed into a fragile but undeniable thread of cooperation that bound them all. As the representatives shook hands, a wave of relief washed over Elara. The metallic walls hummed softly again, vibrant with the pulse of life. No longer just a hull in the depths of space, the Solstice was a vessel of possibility. Elara stepped back, her heart swelling with pride, the air around her filled not with fear, but with the promise of a future forged not through conflict, but through understanding.